So that is important. Um, when you answer yourself, right, to having a clear course of action, what you must do to answer that question of having a clear course of action, whether you do or you don't. Once you answer that question, what it does is it cements in your mind the importance of having a clear course of action. Um, there are a lot of things in people's lives, right, that are glazed over as, oh, it'll just happen for me. And when it comes to having a good life, you can't glaze over these subtle nuances that help you to create a good life. My, I used to glaze over the fact that things in school, right, came easy and you got A's, right? And the teacher was like, oh, you're really smart and you really get it done, right? And then we turn around and and then we have things in life, right? I got family here, guys, so don't mind the yelling and the screaming. Probably tons of alcohol before we even start the wedding, but that's okay. Um, so so anyway, here's the deal, guys. As I regather my thoughts from that loud yell just now, um, when you have a clear course of action and it's cemented in your mind, right? You know the path for success. And so you then go out and you create the path that you need to take in order to achieve the life that you want. And that's like just one of the notes that I wrote down to myself when it comes to creating the life that I want, that you want. Another question that is important and a path that you need to take is my mentor told me to ask myself, how do you get a course of action, right? The steps you need to take in order to have a course of action comes when you begin to create your goals, right? Creating your goals, now you know your destination, what you want to achieve, right? Your goals, as I tell people all the time, are your GPS, right? If you have, like, for example, I'm up in the mountains in the Catskills, right? And I have never been here before, which obviously my wife is telling me we are going to start coming here every single year. And so, but that's okay. I love it. It's a nice place up here. But because I didn't know how to get here, especially with all the tosses and turns and winding mountains, um, I needed my GPS locked in so that just in case I lost the signal, I could still follow the route to get there to get to my destination. That is what your goals are, right? Your goals are that final destination. So you have the long routed map to get to your final destination, and your a course of action are the steps that you need to take in order to reach that destination. Now, in life, there may be many steps, right? And many goals and many different courses of action. But you have to have a planned course of action in order to achieve the life that you want. If you don't have a clear course of action, there are so many distractions out there that you will lose your way because it's almost similar to a rocket ship going to the moon. Off just a fraction over time, right? In the distance to the moon, you eventually are so far off track that you cannot reach the moon. You are so far away from the moon, you won't even see it by the time you get there, guys. And if you don't have a clear course of action, eventually so many obstacles will be placed in your way that you will be so far off from your goals that you probably forget altogether the goals that you need to achieve to create the life that you want. So your goals are your GPS, and your course of action is your step by step daily actions that you have to take in order to create your goal. Now, I always say daily action, man. I know some people say weekly, monthly. I say daily, and if you have something that you can write down hourly, things you need to achieve, you will be very, very super efficient when it comes to achieving your goal, right? If you have a goal that's really, really, really important to you, map out your 24-hour days, right? What do you do, and what time you're going to get up, what time you're going to go to bed. You need to write out when is your times you have your most amount of energy, right? You got to write out what times of day you get lethargic. Maybe you need to take a nap sometime during that time just to energize yourself, like a little 20 minutes, right? Write out the foods that you're eating to help you with your energy levels or hurt you with your energy levels. Your consumption of alcohol, if you drink wine or beer or whatever. So, you need to know all of these things. So this is important things that you need to write down. And I say them today because a lot of people glaze over the subtle nuances that it takes to create the life that you want. My mentor was one of detail, and he didn't allow me to glaze over small details. He would literally stop and pause and look at me and go, "You didn't get that? You didn't get why this particular person was successful and what they did? And why is that?" He would say. And he would say, "Because you did not pay attention to the small details. Every detail counts when it comes to creating the life that you want." Right? The life that you want is extremely important to you, right? And your why should be so powerful that there is no detail that you are going to allow to sneak past you to stop you from creating the life that you want. So, the next question that or statement that I'm going to make, guys, is if your goals are your GPS to a better future, you need to have a clear understanding to these questions, right? So these questions, and the first question is, what are your goals, right? What are your goals? Are they written out on paper? Because guys, if your goals are not written out on paper, then they're not clear goals, right? Your goals need to be written out on paper, and they need to have feeling and emotion to them, right? Another thing, are they too far in the future? Guys, understand this. When you write out your goals, and some of you have 5, 10, 20-year goals, 50-year goals, way out in the future, the world is changing so fast that you have no idea what 5 years from now is going to look like, let alone 10 to 20 years. So you have to have some adaptability in your goals, meaning your goals need to be daily goals, right? Weekly goals, monthly goals, reverse engineered from yearly goals, right? 5 years, I tell you, 5 year visions only. You can't have a 5 year goal. Maybe you can have a 5 year business goal, financially, logistically, or how you want your company to grow. But as far as personal goals or who the person you want to be and everything else, you need to have some adaptability worked into your goal so you can go out there and you can create the life that you want and be able to flex and move in and out of the changes in society and the world and your health and your relationships. So you got to have adaptability into your goals, guys. That is key and that is important. Um, Obviously, a this is obviously a personal question, right? As far as what are your goals, and only you can answer these questions, right? So as I ask you, you have your own personal goals and things that you feel are extremely, extremely important to you, right? But one of the things that helped me to get my goals in a place where they can move me forward and not just be resolutions that I repeated year after year. It was like three questions. Um, what are my goals? Are they written out on paper? And are they too far in the future? When I began to answer these three questions, right, it helped me to gain clarity on my goals, and it helped me to develop a stronger why, as in why I was wanting to achieve that goal. Why was it so important to me? I've had many goals that I thought were important to me, and I began working on them without asking these three questions, and and I began to fade and get upset with myself that I didn't accomplish that goal. But when I realized that I didn't answer these three questions, then I knew that that goal could not have been that much more important for me. So listen, guys, goals are important.